Hello everybody, I'm Ramsis.
And I'm the Vespor.
And we're here for another look back in time. Episode number 14. Where we take a look at something from the past that you still enjoy to this day. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course,
ring that bell
so we can bring you many more like this in the future. Today's subject is going to be Transformer commercials. Generation 1.
That's right. Since we did a review of the pilot episode, we figured, why not? Let's show you some of the commercials that were designed to reel us in as kids and get our parents to spend their hard-earned money on us.
That's right, and boy did they work well. This is going to be a fun trip back in time. We're going to take you from 1984 all the way to the end of the toy line in 1990. Sit back, relax, get those Transformers in your hands again. With that all in mind, I think we're ready to look at our first commercial of our look back at Transformer commercials. And we got a great one here. This is going to be one of the best rivalries you could remember in the Transformers series. What's worse than a tape deck battling another tape deck? Nothing. It's a musical battle like no others.
Except for the fact that Soundwave was still superior in every way to Blaster.
Hey, this is Radio FM.
Introducing Blaster. He looks like an innocent radio, but transformed, he's the powerful Autobot communicator.
Oh, it's time to blast! Watch out for Soundwave! It's Soundwave and Vespor. Blaster and Prime will stop him.
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Alright, first things first. To prove my point that Soundwave is superior, he ejected all of his Cassetticons to take on Blaster, who is half his size, and, well, Blaster did nothing.
Well, that's because the Autobot cassettes didn't come out at this time yet. You see, they would come out a year later, so unfortunately, yeah.
Well, you know what? This commercial taught us one thing. Size isn't everything, because Blaster is towering over Optimus, and so Soundwave. If you're a kid, your eyes will start to glow green, because apparently they give off radiation.
Great stuff. Now, there's a lot of things to note about this commercial. First of all, they make sure to tell you that it's not a working radio, so everyone that's like thinking, wow, I can buy a $20 radio. No, unfortunately, Blaster is not an operational radio. Another thing to note is, boy, is Rumble stupid. He doesn't know another Transformer is something that his own boss can turn into.
Well, to be fair, Soundwave infiltrated their base using the same premises with Spike. So, I mean,
That's true.
There you go.
Now, I own the Blaster toy, so this is one of my favorite toys. Blaster was cool because he was voiced by Buster Jones. He had a lot of episodes in Season 2 of the cartoon series, and he was very big in the comic books. Everyone should know who Blaster is. But the toy is a little ridiculous. It is gigantic in comparison to anything else. It makes no sense in the continuity because he is too big. But it's another one of these. It was a separate toy, not related to Transformers, that Hasbro bought the rights to pretty much and just implemented it as the Autobot version of the communications officer. I love that they're setting up the battle between Blaster and Soundwave because this is going to play out a lot in the series.
And it was also awesome they actually made an actual short clip of the cartoon just to sell this.
So yeah, that was our first one. I think that was a great way to start. What an epic battle, 2 communication officers taking it on. But we're just getting started. So let's move on to commercial number 2. Now we're going to have Hasbro fixing a mistake they made. Anyone that's seen the 1986 Transformers movies knows that a very important event happened in that movie.
Yeah, Optimus got blown up.
Return of Optimus Prime, this was a very big deal. Everyone that was all upset that Optimus was killed are going to be so happy because Optimus is going to be back as this new Power Master Optimus Prime.
New Optimus Prime is here.
I'll transform Optimus. Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back. Now, Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine.
Power Master Optimus Prime. Look, Optimus is transforming into a super robot. Power Master Transformers. Power to surprise.
Now how about that? Isn't that epic?
The actual commercial is epic, but the actual toy looks cheap and flimsy.
Alright, so it's not the most impressive or articulate toy, but they wanted to get the Optimus Prime look, and I think that's what they're going for. You know, sometimes you're locked into what the originals look like. You recreate a toy based on something, you're limited to what you can make. So he's going to be a Brickobot, pretty much. That's a square bot, and even his super form is pretty much just a brick.
I mean, the commercial gets it on there, and just like Ramsey said, if you were listening to it, he actually said this.
It's great to be back.
This is fixing the mistake, and they're doing the song, The Greatest Leader Ever, and then he's saying it's great to be back, and they're like, Optimus Prime is a super form now. Like, they're really throwing it at us that, yes, Optimus is back. I have the Power Master Optimus Prime toy, and it's cool because it's Optimus freaking Prime. Oh, you're upset that we killed Optimus? Well, we're gonna bring him back using our new gimmicky Power Master. And you're all like, what's Power Master? The gimmick was, and it's a silly gimmick, the Transformer can't transform without this Nebulon engine in their chest. And how this worked was it was a little socket in the Transformer, the engine would plug into it, it would push a button down, it would cause the whole body to unlock.
Does that mean that if that's their weakness, since they can't transform without it, don't you just need to shoot him in the stomach?
Haikyuu, by the way, that's the name of the Nebulon. And yes, if you were to destroy Haikyuu, he would be stuck in destruction mode.
Keep trying, Hasbro, keep trying. That was kind of a stupid idea.
Everybody bought Power Master Optimus Prime. Even if you weren't into Transformers anymore, you got so excited that Optimus Prime is back that you had to have this figure. A very important revival by Hasbro to try to bring back a little love to the series that was on its last legs at this point. Now we're going to go back in time to one of the first commercials. Let's show you what happened when the line was just introduced, because you have to remember, when we watched the pilot episode, and I hope you've seen our pilot episode, it was all new and fresh. This is the type of commercial you would have seen as this pilot episode was being shown, and they're going to use a lot of moments from the early episodes of Transformers to get you into the series.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in the sky.
Attack the Autobot commander! Call in an Decepticon leader!
Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
I'll tell you what, nowadays, the commercials for toys are absolutely lame with, hold on a second, we saw Megatron earlier, what happened to him just now?
Well, it looks like they used a different animation for different aspects of this commercial, and Megatron has a different look at two different times.
He changed helmets, he went from a steel helmet to a black helmet, and it looks like he picked up a bazooka instead of a cannon.
This way. But the commercial's more for Optimus Prime, even though that Megatron looked very weird.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact they used cartoon animation and the soundtrack to sell this toy is amazing because you don't see that anymore. You want to buy it as a kid, and even as an adult, you're like, dang, I wish I was a kid back then so I could have enjoyed that.
And like, oh, you want to see a cool toy? Here, this is what the cartoon looks about. Now you can buy the toy that you see in that cartoon. So how about that for selling it? It is so effective, it works perfectly. This Optimus Prime is die-cast metal rubber tires. So how about that?
Yep, that way whenever you're playing with your friends and you want to make a point, you can give them a concussion.
If you didn't have Optimus Prime yet, this commercial is going to make you want it. This commercial, I think, is one of those commercials that's going to make you a fan of this series. I love it. You can't get more classic Avengers than this, but this is just one of many commercials. We're going to look at many more after this, but yeah, you got to start somewhere, you know, and this is a great start. And now for the coolest toys I think everybody wanted, Dinobots. That's right, I said the Dinobots. This was the next stage in Transformers. Because what kid doesn't like dinosaurs? And he mixed dinosaurs with Transformers, and he got the Dinobots, the coolest toys ever made.
That's right. So without further ado, let's look at the perfect combination of dinosaur and machine.
To help us in our never-ending battle against the evil Decepticons, we create the incredible Dinobots.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Dinobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers.
The Decepticons are attacking! Dinobots get him!
The Transformers, sold separately from Hasbro.
So there you have it, folks. As a kid, you combine the two most favorite topics of a young boy, and that is dinosaurs and robots, into one, and you get to see just how powerful these creatures are, and by defeating Soundwave, you defeated 9/10 of the Decepticons.
But yeah, it's great. They use the animation again, and I want to also note that this is only 3 Dinobots. There'll be 5 Dinobots altogether. There's Snarl, Grimlock, and Slag.
And if you're wondering why their names sound so simple, it's because the Dinobots themselves are a little, slow.
They played up on that fact in that the Dinobots, because they're based on dinosaurs, have to be slow-witted also. That's a very 80s thing to do.
But that being said, these toys were much different than the other ones that came before them because they actually sort of showed you what was inside of them as well when they transformed.
But obviously this is one of the first deviations where we're no longer related to just vehicles. So now we have different creatures now joining the Autobot ranks.
Well, thank goodness, because at this point in that time, the Constructicons are beating the crap out of the freaking Autobots every episode.
And now the cool thing is they show how powerful the Dinobots are here. They're beating up on the Seekers in the toy form, and they're beating up on the Decepticons in the animated form. Grimlock alone, who doesn't want a freaking T-Rex toy? I mean, that turns into a robot.
And
That's
also, they're keeping true to form because only in Transformers would the jet fly into a range of a Tyrannosaurus Rex's mouth.
And again, you have to take yourself back to 1984/1985 when this commercial would have been on. This is the coolest thing to see. Dinosaur Transformers. Yeah, I can't wait to get these.
We talked about the Dinobots, and I hope you want to buy them as well. So let's move on to our next commercial.
Now it's time to head towards the end of the toy line again, and let's see who's here to help out Power Master Optimus Prime, who's in need. Some old friends return, and an old enemy. That's right, beyond anything you've ever seen before. Transformers, Classic Pretenders from 1989. This should be a lot of fun, seeing how they squeeze these old classics into these plastic shells.
Optimus Prime is under attack. He needs the greatest Transformers ever.
Optimus, we're here as Pretenders.
Jazz, Bumblebee, you're back. And me, Grimlock.
And the evil Starscream is here, too.
Beyond anything you've ever seen before. Transformer Classic Pretenders.
Now the greats are back as Classic Pretenders. Jazz, Bumblebee, Starscream, and Grimlock.
Me, Grimlock, and Transformers.
Holy crap, what was this Pretenders line trying to do?
I don't know, I think they just ran out of ideas. The Transformers were becoming very robotic looking, but it was these shells and vehicles that they can wear. The whole thing was strange. I still don't understand the whole Pretender concept. You're wearing a costume or a vehicle as a disguise, and you can transform as well, but you're in a shell that sort of protects you the whole time. I don't know.
The thing about it is, though, in this, they're shown to be about the size of humans, which makes no sense because in the comic books, they were just about as big as Optimus Prime in those forms. I guess if you're pretending to be like the Jolly Green Giant, it's effective.
Yeah, pretty much. But we're only going to talk about the Classic Pretenders here. They brought back Bumblebee, Jazz, Grimlock, and Starscream. I can get Bumblebee and Jazz. They're cool. They're cars. It was Starscream as a tiny jet. I don't get it. Grimlock as a Dinobot.
Wait, he became a Velociraptor instead of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's the only thing I can think of.
Now, this is great because you have to remember the cartoon was not on at this time. You did not see an episode with Power Master Optimus Prime. So this is going to be the only time you get to see animated footage of Power Master Optimus Prime and Pretenders and things like that. Not one of the more popular lines. I was a big G1 fan, so later on in life I would buy some of these because I like the nostalgia or novelty of it. But besides the display piece, I don't get the fun of this.
Especially if you had collected the original series Transformers like we did. There's hardly any points of articulation. They're small and they look cheap.
This was all a cash grab, and I think it worked because a lot of people like this line of the Classic Pretenders. It was a cool idea. It's very nostalgic. I don't know who this is catering to because those who were into the series are long out of it by this time.
So now that we've talked about this toy line, which was not as successful as previous ones, let's move on to the next idea they had.
Micromasters, that's right, and it's exactly what it sounds. Tiny sized Transformers that come in packs of 4, and yeah, that's
What?
it.
Wait, Ramses, don't you mean Micro Machines?
Oh, no, Vespor. Well, alright, maybe he's right. They are sort of competing with it. But why don't you see for yourself what these are? Here we go.
New Transformers are here. Micromaster Transformers.
Our new commandos can go where no other Transformers can go. What are they? Micromasters. Why don't we have them?
Now Autobots and Decepticons have Micromasters.
Micromasters, they're smaller and faster. Transformer commandos that go where nobody else goes. Micromaster Transformers. They've got the power to surprise.
New Micromasters in patrols of 4. Collect them all.
As you can see right here, these are truly micro machines that can transform. And you know what? It may not look like it, but in the comic books, they could transform to vehicles that humans could ride into. So in a way, these would probably be the true Pretenders, if anything.
Yeah, this was actually an interesting idea. I was out of the series at this time, but I know all about them. And it makes perfect sense, actually, that they would get smaller, not larger. Because we kept getting larger and larger. We had Power Master Optimus Prime, we had Fortress Maxes, we had Scorponok, we had all these gigantic Transformers. wouldn't it make more sense that you want to hide and conceal yourself in Earth society instead of being like a sore thumb and being gigantic? But as Vespor said, this is really to get in on the Micro Machine market. The Micro Machines were so popular, and this is a perfect way to combine Micro Machines with Transformers. And the series wasn't doing well this time, so it was a very good cash grab for them.
They were great because even though they were cheap looking, you got what you paid for. I mean, you get 4 in a pack, you know, for the price of a G.I. Joe. But what was fun was you could use your imagination and just have fun with them.
Let's be honest, series is on its last leg, so why not go out with fun and something cheap and silly? I mean, it makes it look like it's all part of the same universe. You have Scorponok, you have Power Master Optimus Prime that show up in the animated parts of the commercial. So this is a cool way to go out. A lot of fun, and you can collect them all. A lot of stuff to take note of here. And you know something? We aren't done yet, because you think Micromasters are the last G1 series. No, there was another line that came after Micromaster, and they're called, that's right, the Action Masters.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's definitely an 80s name.
Who will join me? Who will give up the power to transform, to become stronger, faster, more alive?
I will.
Count me in!
And so, Action Masters are born. Transformer Action Masters are incredibly detailed action figures.
Action Masters! The action is alive, alive! Action Masters!
But the evil Decepticons steal the power and become Action Masters too. Led by Megatron and Starscream, they battle Optimus Prime, Jazz, and Bumblebee like you've never seen them battle before. Action Masters ride into battle in sleek transforming vehicles and fight alongside vicious transforming animals and battle droids.
Transformers! Action Masters!
Get in on the action.
Action Masters!
What the heck? I don't even recognize some of these things. And why is Optimus using the flamethrower from the Aliens movie?
Hasbro pretty much gave up on the toy line. It's funny because I do remember in 1990, you went into any Toys R Us and you had aisles and aisles filled with these Action Masters. They were all over the place. They came in these cards, and it was every character you can imagine. It was all like season 1 and 2 characters. And I think they were just trying to get back on the nostalgia again because the series was over this time. Now they're just going to make action figures out of them, which makes no sense. Commercials like, who wants to give out the ability? And everyone's volunteering, and you're like, why? More powerful? More powerful what? You can't transform anymore. You gotta ride these lame vehicles now. You gotta have these silly helpers and skateboards and helicopters. I mean, what are you doing here? You're giving up everything so you can be non-transforming Transformers. How does that make any sense?
In the original series, they come out and flat out say that their ability to transform is what makes them so powerful, so they can get out of different situations more efficiently. As you see here, since they've given it up, they still kept their original forms in robotics, so it makes no sense. And don't forget, we also have generic Autobot A and generic Decepticon A.
So yeah, they were being creative, like they're saying, oh, well, we're going to throw in some characters you don't know here also to make it look like, wow, we're introducing new characters, like some that comes with a bat and a puma and other things that transform. It's a very weird series. This was the last Generation 1 series, though, so you guys should know this is how Transformers ended, pretty much, with this Action Master line.
And it ended terribly, although I can see the appeal of G.I. Joe in this, but it literally makes no sense from any canon standpoint, so let's just forget about this, enjoy the craziness of this commercial, and realize that you too could have, at one point, bought G.I. Joe Transformers.
But we're not done yet. We still have room for a few more. So now that we got how Transformers ended, let's look at something that happened in the movie universe. Well, one of the most important characters from that movie came out, and it was, that's right, Ultra Magnus. It looks like Optimus Prime, but it's actually Ultra
And by the way, spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, it's not Ultra Magnus here who gets to be the leader.
Decepticons are attacking our launch site. Where's Prime?
He's on Cybertron. It's up to you, Ultra Magnus.
Autobots, transform and mount up.
When Ultra Magnus rolls, the action he takes on Decepticons. Magno run out.
Meet Ultra Magnus. As car carrier, he can transport 4 Autobots into battle. But once there, he transforms into my powerful Autobot commander.
Transformers.
The Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
And there you have it, folks. Ultra Magnus, who by all shape and form should have been the next leader of the Autobots, not Rodimus, still hate it to this day. But this commercial does show you how powerful Ultra Magnus is and the fact that he can just run over Decepticons. And what's even more, he can carry the team so much, he can carry 4 other Autobots with him to watch him beat the crap out of the Decepticon.
Not only can he run over everybody, destroy everybody, he's going to have him on his back while he's doing it. That's how cool Ultra Magnus is. And even Optimus Prime is bragging about him in this commercial, by the way.
Ultra Magnus. As car carrier, he can transport 4 Autobots into battle. But once there, he transforms into my powerful Autobot commander.
Like, Optimus Prime's voice is bragging about how great Ultra Magnus is. So yeah, this is a cool toy. I owned Ultra Magnus. I still have the figure to this day, and I have it complete. I'm very happy. This is one of the coolest figures. I agree with Vespor. He should have been the leader. He was pretty much a better version of Optimus Prime. It's another rectangle. Unfortunately, there's nothing great to the toy, but the character is so cool, and the idea of a car carrier carrying Autobots, it's a perfect fit. It makes such logical sense.
If you notice, the actual truck portion is just Optimus Prime.
And that's also based on the original Takara toys again, because this was a Takara toy that they turned into Transformer. So that's why a lot of the later series would have Ultra Magnus and Optimus are related, because of this connection between the cabs. They're pretty much the same, it's colored differently.
And the fun part is, now the kid looked normal, got green eyes, now is actually showing he must have been a pretender because he's transforming into a robot.
Yeah, this is a cool toy. If you have Ultra Magnus, let us know what your thoughts on it. And it's so disappointing that he didn't get more of a play. He was really a very minor character, even in the Season 3 cartoon episodes. It's really all about Rodimus, and Ultra Magnus was sort of just there, backing him up on anything. So very cool commercial. I guess we more regret that Ultra Magnus didn't get the usage he gets here, but it's so cool. This is a great toy. It's a brick, yes, but it's a cool brick. It's red, white, and blue. How more patriotic can you get than that? So that was our fun look at Ultra Magnus. But now we have one last commercial, and this is a fun one to end it, because I want everyone to remember that Transformers was very big in the early 80s, and every company was trying to copy them. So Hasbro came up with this great idea in that they're going to have a commercial to make sure you realize you're buying an authentic Transformer, and they use something that came on every single Generation 1 figure, and it's very cool. You won't even realize that, oh, yes, that's right, and they're going to talk about it in this commercial.
We are conquerors. No one is like us. Only we have the right to be called by the name. Only we have the right to wear this symbol. Or this symbol. Only we are Autobots and Decepticons. Good versus evil. And only we have the right to be called the Transformers.
Meet the eye, the Transformers.
Only the Transformers are real Transformers, each sold separately from Hasbro.
Well, there you go, folks. If you actually remember the original toy line, you got that wonderful sticker on them and rub, which was heat sensitive, because during the 80s, mood rings were a thing, and anything heat sensitive that could change color, well, they'd try to put that in a toy as well.
People forget that, yes, they had the stickers of the symbol, but they also had that rub sign. And yeah, it was so cool, the Autobot or Decepticon symbol would show up. And there's a reason behind this. A lot of companies were copying Transformers. You had like
GoBots! Sorry, oh, excuse me.
Yeah, that's right. GoBots was a very big competitor made by Tonka, and they pretty much copied the whole Transformer toy line. And I was not a GoBot fan. I don't want it to be said I was. I did not even own one figure. But yes, Hasbro was not happy that all these other companies were copying them. So they came up with this commercial to show if it has our rub sign, you know you are getting an authentic Transformer. Because they didn't put any effort into the commercial. They just reused all the footage. And it's funny because you can see some of the footage from all the commercials we've shown you today. That's why we saved this one for last. And it's cool because look at how brazen they are. They're like, hey, we're Transformers. You don't buy anything else. You buy Transformers or else. And that's pretty much what the commercial is saying. Optimus and Megatron fighting about who's the coolest and only buy us, and even they're getting along in agreement with that yeah, you only want Transformers.
Yep, because after all, as a kid, we were very discerning in what we wanted to play with, and a die-cast GoBot is nowhere near on the same level as an Optimus Prime or Megatron.
I think that's the perfect way to end it, except no imitation. Only the Transformers count, and that's all you need in your toy line, and that's the cool part of this commercial. Now, we may do this again. We're going to review some more Transformers. Love Transformers Generation 1, and we want to do a lot more for you guys. Transformers, much more than meets the eye. Thanks for joining us here on Vespor Retro Reviews as we end another look back in time. Transformers Commercials Volume 1 for Generation 1 commercials. Take another look back in time very soon with you all. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course,
ring that bell.
See you all next time, Vespor Retro Reviews, and we're heading back from Cybertron now.